The average women's unadjusted annual salary has been cited as about 80% of that of the average male. Wage gap skeptics emphasize that the 20% gap can be due to women choosing different and lower paying college majors, and that women are more likely than men to work reduced schedules, often in order to manage unpaid child rearing and other caregiving work. However, after adjusting for choices made by male and female workers, multiple studies found that pay rates between male and females varied by about 6%, or females earning 94 cents to every dollar earned by their male counterparts. Although the gender gap exists globally, we'll focus on the gap as it exists in the United States, and more specifically, in the sports industry. In the sports industry, women have not only performed equal responsibilities, but outperformed men in some instances, only to fall short in the compensation department again. Statistics proved this to be true in 2015, when the women's U.S. soccer team won the World Cup. The United States women's national team was the most successful team in the history of U.S. soccer, but their wage earnings didn't prove that to be true, as they got paid less than the U.S. men's soccer team. The 2015 Women's World Cup gathered the largest ever television audience, men's or women's, for any English-speaking broadcast of any soccer game. Despite having a bigger audience, outperforming the men's soccer team, and raking in nearly $20 million more in revenue for U.S. soccer refused to acknowledge the consideration of compensating the women at the same level as the men. Like soccer, the gender wage gap in the sports industry is pretty evident when comparing the earnings between NBA and WNBA players. In the 2017 WNBA season, the Minnesota Lynx star Sylvia Fowles led the WNBA in field goal percentage, ranked 5th in points per game, tied for 2nd in rebounding, finished 2nd in rebounds per game, and received $109,000. Meanwhile, Leonardo Barbosa, a reserve bench player for the Phoenix Suns, is scheduled to earn $500,000 guaranteed, even after being cut by the team. The NBA is able to pay higher salaries to its players because NBA teams generate more revenue than WNBA teams. However, the WNBA players are not being treated the same as their counterparts when comparing their wage percentage earned by league revenue. According to Forbes, the NBA pays its players around 50% of the league revenue, whereas WNBA players earn less than 25%. In 2017, the WNBA earned at least $51.5 million. If the WNBA paid its players 50% of its revenue, the average player would take home about $164,000, compared to the current average, $75,000. The WNBA continues to grow by increasing its attendance and league revenue from television broadcast and other sources. Unless the players renegotiate with the Continental Basketball Association, the gender wage gap will likely get larger and larger since there is no mechanism to ensure that players' salaries are linked to this revenue growth. This case of gender discrimination devalues women's contributions and abilities, a trend that has been recognized in almost all occupations.